And hopefully it's coming up on your screen now. I'm just going to wait just a second, make sure it's working. Oh, someone is saying they can't hear me. Let me see if I can figure out what is going on with that. Okay, something seems to be wrong with the microphone. Although everything I have is saying that it's working. Okay, great. Someone is saying they can hear me now. Okay, so I'm going to go back and try to share my screen with you again and see if it is working. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen and still hear me. Please let me know if you can't. I am watching the chat window so that I can keep track of any issues that you guys have. All right, so I want to welcome you all. Congratulations on being admitted to the College of Engineering at the University of Houston. We're really excited that you'll be starting with us in the spring semester, and we really want to make sure that you aren't having any issues. I wonder, it seems to be whenever I attempt to share the screen that people are having problems hearing me. Let me try again. Okay, can you hear me now? Can everybody hear me? Wonder why. Okay, so it's showing that my voice is going through and that the microphone is working. But for some reason, when I share the screen, you guys are losing the audio, and I'm not sure what is causing that issue. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the information that I wanted to share with you. Sorry that you won't be able to see the PowerPoint presentation. But at least you'll be able to kind of hear, you know what, let me try one more thing before I say that. Yeah, it does appear to be PowerPoint that is causing the issue. Oh, well, some people are saying they could hear me. So we'll just try that again. Yeah, it does show that the monitor is still, it's still picking up the audio. So let's give that a try. All right, so let's get started. I don't want to use up too much time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Houston and about the University of Houston. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to set up your MyUH account and then how to review the course schedule and start selecting your classes. For those of you who are international students, I'm going to touch on I-20 processing, how that works, how we send the documents to you, and that sort of thing. We're going to talk a little bit about course enrollment. I want to talk about some of the employment opportunities and the ways that the college wants to help you find employment after you finish your degree and even during your degree. We'll talk about the tuition and the fees and how those work. And we'll talk about the orientation schedule, and then I'll open it up for questions from everyone. So Houston is the 4th largest city in the United States. It's a very large city, very urban. We have a lot of stuff going on here in Houston. A lot of the time we refer to ourselves as the energy capital of the world, although our official nickname is Space City. I'm sure you're all aware that we have the Johnson Space Center here. Really, we have quite a diverse economy. It used to just be oil and gas was our main thing. And we do still have a lot of oil and gas companies, but we also have a huge medical center and a lot of medical research is done here. And Houston is one of the largest employers of engineers in the United States. And so we have a lot of opportunities here for you to learn from people who are practicing in the field, as well as to network and to find positions after you graduate. The University of Houston was designated a Tier 1 public research university by the Carnegie Foundation. We are a large campus, very spread out with lots of parks and fountains, lots of trees. It's really a beautiful campus with some very lovely buildings. And we have a very diverse student body. And that's really what I want to talk about next, is about the diversity of UH and what you will find when you come here. So let's talk a little bit about international students in engineering. For our graduate programs, international students make up about 70% of our student body. Most of our students come from India, China, and Iran, but we also have a good number of students from Nigeria, Turkey, and Vietnam. A few years ago, the University of Houston was designated as the second most diverse university in the US. And this isn't just international students, it's also very diverse among our domestic student population. So if you come here, you will meet people from all over the world and Americans of all different types. So we're very proud of our diversity, and we're very proud of our international student population. So I think that you will all be very excited to see some of the services and programs that we have here for international students. So since I'm on the topic of international students, the I-20 document is going to be your first step towards getting your visa and getting here. In order to receive that document, the first thing you need to do is accept the admissions offer through the Apply Web application system. So you just log in and you click that you accept the offer. And once you've done that, our advisors will submit the request for your I-20. But we cannot process that I-20 until we have received all of your documents. And so if you have any confusions about what documents you need to submit, here's a short list below. The required documents listed here are for students who are paying some portion of their tuition. So everybody has to submit the copy of the passport. If you don't have full financial backing from the university, which most students will not when they come in, you also have to submit the letter of financial backing and the supporting documents. If you have any questions about that, please go ahead and email me. I can figure out what you need and what we have and let you know where your I-20 document is in the process if you've already submitted all of this stuff. There's also some information here below, some links that you can go to. The International Student Office can help you with any questions about getting a visa. But if you have questions about the I-20 document or about getting that, you should contact myself or the graduate school. And the best way to contact the graduate school is gradschool@uh.edu. And anything you send through there, it goes to a ticket system so that we know that somebody will respond to your query as quickly as possible. Okay, so once you've received your I-20, or domestic students can do this as soon as they've accepted the admissions offer, the next step will be to set up your MyUH account. You do this by going to my.uh.edu and selecting Request My User ID. And this will then give you a set of questions, and you just sort of follow the directions and move through it to set up your account. The reason international students have to wait until they get their I-20 in order to do this is that you have to use the CVIS ID from your I-20 or a social security number in order to set up your account. But once you have the account set up, you'll be able to see if you have any holds on your account, which I'll go into detail in about in a minute. You can then also view the class schedule. And if you have no holds on your account, you can register for classes. If you have any issues with this, the best people to contact is our Information Technology Office. And they can make sure that you get everything set up. But this is a list of our common account holds that most new students have. Even if you see these on your account, you may still be able to register for classes. The best way to find out really is to try to enroll in a class. But we've been making some changes to these rules to get our international students enrolled into classes more quickly and more easily. So the first hold is the international check-in and orientation hold. This hold used to prevent you from enrolling, but it no longer does. So you'll see the hold on your account, but you can still enroll. To get this hold removed from your account, you have to attend the one of the check-in sessions and also attend orientation. And so I believe I'll be giving you the dates of the check-in sessions soon, but I also have a document that you should all have received with your I-20 that will also list the dates and the information that you need to bring to these sessions. If you do not attend one of these sessions in your first semester, your visa could be canceled. The International Student Service Office needs you to show up to these events so that they can tell the federal government that you have shown up to school. So this is very important. Even though it's not going to block your enrollment, you need to make sure you attend. And they will discontinue your enrollment in the following semester if you don't attend one of these sessions. The second most common account hold is the prior degree verification hold. This is how we validate that you have a bachelor's degree. And so for this, you have to submit the hard copies of all of your transcripts, mark sheets, and degree certificates. So generally, these will be the same documents that you submitted scanned copies of for your application, but we now need the hard copies of all of these. So there are a couple different ways that you can submit these documents. You can have your university mail them directly to our graduate school. The address for that is on our graduate school's website, or you can always email me and I will send it to you. And so if you do have your university send these documents, you need to make sure that they give us both the transcripts and the individual semester mark sheets. And we can accept attested copies of these mark sheets as long as they're attested by a registrar and not by a principal or another school official. And then, of course, we also need to see copies of your degree certificates if your transcripts do not mention that you have received the degree. They have very specific requirements for what these documents need to have. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to email me or the grad school, and we'll make sure we get that information to you. Finally, the most common account hold is the bacterial meningitis immunization. This is only required if you are going to be under 22 years of age on the first day of classes. And the first day of classes is January 16th. So if January 16th is your birthday, then you're fine. But if your birthday falls after that, then you need to make sure that you submit this documentation if you're under 22. If you're over the age of 22, there are no immunizations that are required. Okay, so here's the orientation schedule. The check-in sessions are for spring semester are Thursday, January 4th and Tuesday, January 9th. You need to at least be in the US and on campus by January 9th so that you can start attending all of your orientations. The international student orientation is January 10th, so you also will be required to attend that if you're an international student. We will also have department and college orientations. These are usually the Thursday or Friday before classes start, so it'll probably be Tuesday you'll have your check-in, Wednesday you'll have your international student orientation, and then Thursday or Friday you'll have your department or college orientation. So we generally try to pack all of these orientations into that week because we want to make sure everyone's here and present for those orientations. You'll get a lot of information about the services available at UH, as well as about your degree plan and about who you need to contact if you're having any kind of issues with your classes or with your program. So please make sure that you attend these orientations, and let me know if you have any questions about how the orientation schedule works. Okay, so now course enrollment. And I know this is what you guys are all here to ask questions about. Everybody wants to get enrolled and get started, and that's great. So most new students are eligible to enroll now for spring 2018 classes. The schedule has been released, and you're eligible to enroll as long as you have taken care of the holds that are on your account. I forgot to mention when I was talking about transcripts before, you can mail your transcripts in, but if you have an issue with, getting those documents, or if you have all the hard copies and you'd prefer to do it in person, you can bring them with you and enroll when you arrive at UH. It's a little bit hectic and it's a little bit difficult to find classes if you have to wait that late, but we do our best to make sure that we get all new students enrolled in classes. And we do our best to make sure we get you into the classes that you want to get into. Though, of course, the earlier you can enroll, the better. International students are required to enroll in at least 9 credit hours per semester. This is the requirement to be technically full-time. And so if you're here on a student visa, you have to register for 9 credit hours at least. If you're receiving any kind of funding in that semester, in any given semester, then you need to enroll in 12 credit hours. So if you are receiving a scholarship, the master's scholarship, or a tuition waiver based on an assistantship, then you have to register for 12 credit hours. And this is a college rule that has been in effect for a very long time, and I don't see it changing anytime in the future. So please make sure that you follow that. If you do end up having issues, please talk to us and let us know. And we will try to help you. But if you don't enroll in those 12 credit hours, then you will lose any scholarship that you've been given or tuition waiver based on an assistantship. So please talk to your academic advisors. Make sure you're enrolled in the correct amount of classes. The last day to add a class to your schedule is January 23rd. And this is after classes start. So once classes begin on January 16th, you will have a few days to kind of adjust your schedule to drop and add classes before those classes will end up on your transcript. So if you don't enroll or drop in your classes by that date, January 23rd, then there's a chance that you may end up having to pay for extra hours, or that you may end up having a withdrawal listed on your transcript. So please talk to your academic advisors about enrollment dates. It's something that we will go over in detail at orientation. And I really want to highly encourage you all to contact your department advisor if you haven't already. Let them know you're coming. Let them know any questions that you have. They will be very helpful with answering those questions. So more information about course enrollment can be found on the UH website. You can just search for course enrollment and you can find that page. And it'll detail how you search the course schedule, how you find classes, how you add them, all of that. Okay, so this is just an example chart of different ways that you can complete your degree. So all of our master's programs are 30 credit hours, and there are different paces you can go to achieve that 30 hours. So under the accelerated pace, you can finish your degree in 1 year. So if you start in January, you will be done in December. And so the way you would do that would be to take 12 credit hours your first semester, 6 hours during the summer, and 12 credit hours again in the fall, and then your degree will be complete. This is the fastest and cheapest way to get your degree. If you prefer to go at a slightly slower but still at the full-time pace, you can do 9 hours, 3 hours in the summer, 9 hours again in the fall, and then you will still have 9 credit hours left for the following spring. This is a good pace for you if you are wanting to spend more time in the U.S. looking for a job. And also, if you're looking for a job, you can get a co-op position in your final semester. So unfortunately, there is a law that international students cannot work off campus until they've completed a full academic year, and that's 2 long semesters. So if you're starting in the spring, you're not eligible for a co-op position until the following spring semester. And there are 2 ways you can do this. You can do this with a full-time pace where you take 9 credit hours in that last semester, and then you can work 20 hours per week off campus in an internship. If you want to work full-time in an internship, you need to take at least 3 of those credit hours in a previous semester. So my example here has, for the full-time CPT, it has 9 credit hours in the first semester, 6 in the summer, and then 9 in the fall. But that you don't have to do it that way. You can take 12 credit hours one semester and do the same thing. You could also arrange your courses so that you have only 3 credit hours left in your final semester. And in that case, you can also work full-time in an internship off campus. So there's a lot of rules around how and when international students can work and when they can work off campus especially. You can work on campus at any position you like as long as it's 20 hours per week or less. And we do have a lot of positions available across campus. And so if this is something that you're interested in, I can give you information about how you look for those positions. I do want to warn you, though, that only graduate assistantship positions, the RATA positions, will give you a tuition waiver that will give you in-state tuition. So there's lots of employment opportunities on campus that will help you get a little bit of money in your pocket, but will not give you that tuition waiver. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. And so while we're on the topic of employment, so these are the positions that are eligible for in-state tuition. RA and TA are, of course, research assistant and teaching assistant. And then we also have a category of positions called IA positions, and these are instructional assistant. Usually what this is you'd be working in a lab or something like that, teaching undergraduate students. So those positions are available across campus. Our College of Technology hires a lot of our students. So you may want to talk to some of the students that you meet your first semester here, find out where they're working, because as they graduate and leave, those positions will become available again. It is difficult to find positions when you're starting in the spring semester, and it's especially difficult your first semester. But once you've been here a little while, you'll start to meet more people and get to know where those opportunities are. Really, other students are going to be your best resource for finding those positions because they've already found them. They know where they are. So definitely make it a priority to talk to other students. I talked a little bit about off-campus employment. International students are only allowed to do off-campus employment through the CPT co-op program. CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. And we do this through the co-op program, which is run by the Engineering Career Center. So in order to participate in this program, you are expected to find your own internship. And then the Career Center helps you make sure that everything is correct as far as working off campus with your visa. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to contact me or the Engineering Career Center. We have our own Career Center that's just for our college, just for engineering students. And they do also a career fair every year, and that's what this picture here is of, where they bring in employers from throughout Houston and across the country to interview our students. And so this is a really great resource. A lot of students find their co-op opportunities through it, and also their optional practical training, which is for after you've completed your degree to continue working in the United States. And so we do our best to help find positions and to help you figure out the best way to go about finding positions. But I do want to give you the caveat that it is difficult. It's certainly not going to be easy. But if you work hard and you try your best, I'm sure that you will be able to succeed. All right, so next I'm going to talk about some tuitions and fees just to give you an idea of what to expect as far as the tuition and how many hours. So it's based on how many hours you take, which degree program you're in, and what your residency status is. And we do have two different types of residency status. There's Texas resident and non-resident. And so there isn't a separate category for international students. They're grouped in with the non-resident, which is the same tuition that anyone who is not a resident of the state of Texas would pay to attend one of our public colleges. So for 9 credit hours, a resident's tuition is around $4,300 to $4,700 per semester. And then for non-residents, it's $8,900 to $9,300. The chart on the bottom shows you if you take the different tracks, how much it will cost for the entire program. And I do want to make the point here that most students don't pay the same tuition the entire program. So you may see that the non-resident tuition is $30,000 for your entire program, but there is a chance that you will get a scholarship or an assistantship at one semester and not have it the next semester, or vice versa. So really most students end up with some combination of resident and non-resident tuition semesters. So your actual total is likely to be lower than the $30,000, depending on how you proceed through your career, how many classes you take, and whether or not you're able to find an assistantship. So I'm definitely willing to answer more questions on that if you have any questions about that. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and look and see if you guys have asked any questions, if there's anything I can help answer. So please go ahead and type in any questions you have in the live chat window. I'm going to just start at the top and read through them and try to answer them the best I can. If there are times when I cannot answer your question, I will refer you to the academic advisor for your program, as they are a really good resource for getting you into the correct classes and making sure that you understand your program's requirements. Okay, so the first question we have here is, can you please brief me about research opportunities, job prospects after master's in structural engineering from UH? So really the information that I gave is very general because I am not a structural engineer. I'm not a member of that department. So I really suggest that you contact them. Hopefully some of the information I'll give you will give you an idea of what to expect. And then they can give you some more specific information about that. If you need help figuring out who to contact, please let me know and I'll get you in contact with either a staff member or a faculty member from that department. Okay, I will be in joining the graduate degree in electrical engineering. I would like to get a brief description of compulsory and option courses towards the completion of master's degree. So I can give you some basic information about that. I do have a little bit of experience with the electrical engineering degree plans. So I'm assuming that you're a master's student, so I'm going to answer the question based on that. If you're a PhD student, you can email me and I'll make sure we go over those degree plans. So our master's programs are all 30 credit hours. For electrical engineering, there is a combination of core courses that you have to take and elective courses that you have to take. And I believe that it is 6 courses that are compulsory for you to take in your core area. And so you choose which of the specializations they offer you want to be your major. And then you choose 6 courses that are on the list for that major. So you do have some flexibility in deciding what you're going to focus on. And then the elective courses are a combination of courses from the electrical engineering department. And then you can also take courses in mathematics, in the hard sciences, or in our College of Business. And your academic advisor will go over this in detail during your orientation, or you can email her and she'll send you, actually, I believe they have all of their degree plans online on their website. So if you can't find those, email me or Nafisa Lynn, who is the advisor for electrical engineering, and we can show you how to find that specific information. Okay. So what is the last date to send the official transcripts? So you can send your official transcripts all the way up until the last day to enroll. As long as we have processed them before January 23rd, we can get you into classes. But I want to highly recommend that you not wait that long. As soon as you arrive at UH, you can take them in person, or you can send them now from your university. And as soon as we receive them, we'll get that processed and the hold removed from your account so that you can register for classes. It's really, really important to do this as soon as you can because they are very specific about what documents they get. And I've had a lot of cases where people thought they had submitted everything, but they were missing 1 page or something. So you want to make sure that you get all of those documents to us and that they get reviewed in time for you to get the courses that you want. Next question I see is, I'm going to attend on an H4 visa and plan to convert to a F1 after spring and summer semester. Can you please guide me on the process to do this and my eligibility for CPT, OPT work authorization after the conversion? So once you are converted to F1, the CPT and OPT rules will apply to you just like they would all F1 students. As an H4 student, you have a little bit of flexibility in whether you want to be part-time or full-time since you're not technically on a student visa. So some students do end up deciding to stay on the H visa. And that's really going to depend on your specific circumstances. And so I'd highly suggest that you meet with one of the counselors at the International Student Services. They can go through the benefits and the cons of either type of visa and how to go through the process. They're the ones that will help you with the process and figuring out how to do it. So I would highly recommend contacting one of them. They do both in-person and telephone appointments. So you can make an appointment to talk to them on the phone as well if you just want to start the conversation and find out some answers to your questions. Okay, so the next question is, where can we see the account holds? So when you log into your MyUH account, I'm going to go back to the holds page. So you know this red symbol with the circle and the line through it that means no? If you have that at the top of your page, that means you have what they call a negative service indicator. Usually you can click on that, or you can look at the checklist area on the side of your page, and you'll be able to see if you have any holds, or service indicators is usually the term that they use on there. If you have any difficulty finding that, please send me an email. I'll check your account and I'll send you a list of what holds you have and how to take care of them. Okay, will this webinar be available online? Yes, as soon as we finish today, it will be available in its entirety automatically on YouTube. So you'll be able to go back and watch it again. And we may or may not have a second one next month. We're still deciding on whether or not there will be enough student involvement. So if you would like another webinar, please let me know and we will do that next month. So the next question is, when will our official email ID be created? So I believe that you have to register for classes first before they will send you your CougarNet ID and CougarNet account. Until then, you can log into your account with your PeopleSoft ID number, your student ID number that's on your admissions letter. And so the way our email system works is that you will be assigned an alias and then you will provide a destination. So you'll still use your own email accounts to read and to send emails, but anything that we send to you on your UH account will go to that email address. I hope I explained that well. So you really, it's just an alias ID and not an actual email account. Can I work on campus on H-4 visa? You know, I'm really not sure about that. I'm not sure what the work requirements are for the H-4 visa. I can look into that for you if you want to send me an email, or you can contact International Student Services. They'll know the answer to that. I'm trying to remember if I've come across a situation like that before or not. But yeah, so email us. We'll make sure that we get the right answer on that. When is the last date to enroll for classes? May I enroll for class after I arrive to campus? So the last date is January 23rd, and that is after classes start. So we really hope that you'll be enrolled before January 16th so that you can start your first day attending classes. But we do allow a little bit of wiggle room there so that if you need to change classes or you decide that a particular class isn't right for you, you can switch it out to another one. So the last date to add any class at all is January 23rd. And you can do that. You can enroll after you arrive on campus. If you want to, especially if you want to bring your degree verification documents, you can bring those with you and enroll after they've been processed. Will we be notified on email once the I-20 is dispatched? So usually what happens is they once they have all the documents, they process the I-20. It does take a few days at least for that to go through, depending on how much their load of I-20s is. So what they'll do is they will email you shipping options, and they will ask you to pick. And so there's some departments, I feel like I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So some departments will have it shipped directly by the CVIS office. They'll send you an email and have you choose how you want it shipped. If you want it shipped for free, we can do that, but it'll be the really slow snail mail. And then you can also choose to pay to have it expedited to you. Some other departments will have the academic advisor mail it to you. But that's very few departments. So if you do have a situation where you don't receive that shipping email, contact your academic advisor because they may be the one that's sending it. If that's the case, they should send you an email telling you when it's being shipped. Okay. I have accepted my admit, but still not received any mail regarding documents for I-20. Can you let me know when I can expect the mail? So that's really going to depend on which department you're in because it's the academic advisors that do that. But if you want to go ahead and send me an email, I can send you the list of documents and the process so that you make sure that you have everything. I can also check your account to see what we have currently and what status your I-20 is in. And I do want to encourage all of you who have questions or doubts about whether or not your I-20 is being processed to send me an email because I can look that information up for you and make sure that it's getting done quickly. So please do that just to ease your mind and to ease my mind. Let's check all of your I-20s and make sure everything is going fine. So I highly encourage you to email me about that. So I'm just going to wait another minute or so because I think we've got to the end of the questions. But I don't want to cut anybody off who's currently typing a question. So if you do have any questions, please type them in now to make sure that we get to all the information. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to think of whether or not I've forgotten to tell you anything and make sure we cover everything, because I want you all to come here with all the information that you need to be successful right away. Oh, so I talked a little bit about these different paths to getting your degree, and I mentioned taking courses in the summer. One thing I didn't mention when I was talking about that is that a lot of our engineering departments actually don't have graduate classes in the summer. And so what our students usually do is they'll take their electives outside the college. So you can take math classes, you can take hard science classes. I believe computer science has classes that are available during this time. And so when you're planning out your degree, you really want to think about when these courses are taught, because a lot of times courses will only be taught in the spring semester, or they'll only be taught in the fall semester. So it's good to have an idea of what you're going to be taking for your entire degree and kind of plan that out when you're going to take what. Courses, unfortunately, do sometimes get canceled or they get moved around. So I know it's frustrating when you had planned for the last year to take a course in a particular semester and then suddenly it's not offered. So also think about backup plans. Think about what course you would take if that course ends up not being offered, just to make sure you have some idea, you have a plan in place so that you don't end up stuck during your last semester taking a course that you really didn't want to take. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And then let's see, what else is there? And also in tuition and fees, I wanted to talk to you about health insurance. So there are requirements that all international students on an F or a J visa are required to have health insurance. So the way our university handles this to make sure that everybody is following the federal law is that we automatically charge you for health insurance on your account. Now, you are not required to use our health insurance. If you have your own health insurance that meets the requirements for the university, then you can submit a waiver request to have that fee taken off your account. And so if anybody does have that situation, please let me know and I will help you figure out. I'll send you the link to the right page to read and give you all the information about the health insurance that we do require. So please let me know if you have any questions about that as well. I see one more question. Can I take a semester break in fall of 2018 or spring of 2019? So you're the one who's on an an H visa. So yes, you can take a break. The way you do that is that you submit a petition through your department to put your degree on hold or to take what we call a leave of absence. And most departments are willing to work with you if you have that situation. We do have a continuous enrollment requirement. So all graduate students are required to enroll in every long semester. You're not required to enroll in the summer. So you can choose to take the summers off if you prefer. But you will be required to enroll in every fall and spring semester. If you need to take it off, you just go ahead and submit that petition. But if you do need to extend it or move it to another semester, you have to petition for that as well. Because if we expect you to enroll in a given semester and you don't, you could be terminated from your program. So please make sure that you keep up with that and talk to your academic advisor. So I have another question. Is the tuition and fees page here talking about living expenses? No, it is not. But I do have some, I believe a chart somewhere that includes that. I'll look for that and I can send it to you all. But this only includes tuition and the mandatory fees that are charged per semester. Living expenses are going to vary quite a bit depending on whether you're going to live on campus or off campus, if you're going to have a roommate or not. So it's really difficult for us to estimate what your living expenses will be, but we can do our best. Next question is on-campus accommodation compulsory for at least one semester? No, it is not. Graduate students are not required to live on campus. It is completely up to you where you live. I want to encourage you guys to contact your student associations. We have a very strong, very active Indian student association, and they can help you with finding somewhere to live. They can help you with airport pickup. So you want to make sure you contact them. We also have a really great Chinese student association, and they can help you as well with airport pickup and with finding a place to live. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Also join our Facebook group, the Engineering Cougars Facebook group. The link to that was included in the email for this webinar. And from there, you can talk to students who have been here a semester or two. You can also find the information about those student associations. So let me see. I suppose the program track chart is showing the expenses for the whole course. Yes, so the bottom chart is for the entire course for 30 credit hours. And the top one is showing you by semester. And of course, these are estimates and they're going to be different for every student. So your total might not be exactly the same as these. And the tracks I've listed below are based on this chart. Where is that? There it is. So they're based on these different ways of taking classes. The more classes you take in one semester, you end up saving money over time because you're paying less fees per semester. But as you can see from this chart, the difference is not staggering. You could save, $400 or $500 by doing the accelerated pace. Okay, so I think I've gone through everything that I wanted to mention. I'm just going to give another minute or two in case someone's typing a question. I really want to thank you guys all for participating today. I hope that this has been helpful for you to kind of know what to expect when you are going through this process. It can be very confusing the first time you've done it. And so if you guys need any help, please contact me or contact your academic advisor. If you're having trouble getting a hold of someone, you can also email that gradschool@uh.edu email. And they will, as I said, it was a ticket system, so they can monitor how long it takes us to respond to your emails. We got one more question. Is there a deadline to accept the admission offer? Deadlines for the admission offers are based on department. So contact your academic advisor. If there wasn't, usually they're listed in your admissions letter, but if there wasn't a date listed in your admissions letter, talk to your academic advisor. And if you need an extension, if you're still deciding on what you want to do, let your advisor know. They can usually give you a little more time, especially if you're a domestic student or if you're an international student who's already in the US. We can usually extend that a little bit. But if you do need an initial I-20 to enter the country, we don't want it to extend your deadline too much because we do want to make sure we can get those documents to you in time to get a visa. It's a very short time period for coming in the spring between the admissions decision and when you need to be here. So I know that it can be very difficult to get that visa appointment. But if you are already here in the US, please talk to your academic advisor about extending that deadline or about finding out, when they need that response by. Okay, so again, I want to thank you all for participating. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want to check the status of your I-20, if you're confused about tuition, about course enrollment, any of that stuff, please let me know. I'm here to help, and I will try to answer your questions as quickly as I can. So again, thank you all for participating. I hope that you have a great day or evening probably for most of you. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you here at UH. For most of you. I lost my screen to turn off the camera. All right, bye everyone. I'll see y'all soon.